So in my review of the short, I sort of like reveal almost how I sort of like remember Susan Powter.
Yeah.
Um, I will say her guest spot on Drag Race lived very vividly in my brain. The first time that I watched your movie, so I've seen it a couple of times. I've seen it two or three. Um, I went back and I like rewatched that episode, and I did
Yeah.
not realize how like lines, movements were so vividly like lodged in my
Yeah.
noggin. And I guess I wanted to know, I was like, what your relationship with Susan Powter is, but like how. I was like, why Susan? Like, is this somebody like that you knew when you were younger in terms of like, uh, a person or an icon, and
Yeah.
and I guess I just wanted to know what was the point where you said to yourself, like, I have to meet her, I have to make a movie about her.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be 45 this year, so I was like an early teenager when the whole Stop the Insanity thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like obsessed with like A Current Affair and Hard Copy. Like those are the kind of shows that I
Oh,
just kind
hard
of,
copy. Remember
yeah, I
hard
mean,
copy?
and
Shit.
and like Inside Edition. And so she
Mm-hmm.
was like on those shows quite a bit. And so I definitely was aware of her and like knew who she was. But I had made a movie about a candle shop owner that you had seen. I think it came out like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was a short, but it was really a kind of like a truncated biopic on why this guy wound up becoming a candle maker and why he wanted to offer his life up for service and to, what. So I really like enjoyed making a like a biopic type
Mm-hmm.
project. And so I made a list of people that I was like, maybe I would like to find out what happened to them, like where they
Oh,
are, that kind of thing. And Susan was on that list. And then I just started looking for her. I wasn't I'm like a major documentary junkie. It's like all I
yeah.
watch, it's like I'm just obsessed. I like love the genre. I devour the genre. And so it wasn't like strategic in terms of like, oh, I want this to be my first feature. It just was like, I'm constantly throwing so many things at the wall. It just, divine intervention, timing, I don't know. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like I looked for her for about 9 months, like calling places, emailing places. I even reached out to Rusty, trying to find her.
Yeah.
And nobody knew where she was. Nobody was getting back to me. And so I eventually found her via this old fan account on Instagram. And I found a phone number that I did not know
God.
was hers. It was just one of the fans following that account like just felt Susan Powterish. Like there were soups and there was like artwork that had appeared in another
Mm-hmm.
project she had done, and there was a phone number on that profile. So I just started texting it, and it was lo and behold Susan Powter. So it was kind of like, just the perfect,
God.
yeah, I mean, this whole project has been, I feel like kind of like divinely guided and inspired, And so yeah, I definitely knew who she was. And I mean, listen, I loved seeing her. I was like a young gay boy being raised by like a single mom. So
Yeah.
I definitely understood like what a strong female character was. And I loved seeing her on TV at that time. And I always was curious like what happened to her. And, when you're looking for someone and then they're not like easily found, you start to think like something must have happened and something did happen.
Okay. Well, first of all, like the title of the film, "Stop the Insanity: Finding Susan Powter." I mean, like that's the most like literal.
Yeah.
I'm literally finding her. That's I did not know that. That is so crazy. Like I feel like so many people would like almost give up on doing that, or they would like move on, like go down the list and find somebody else to focus on. But I feel like there's something that I love about the movie, and also it's just about her persona in general, is that seeing all that like archival footage of her and seeing all the times that she was on talk shows or appearances on whatever show, it's just she projects um such a varied level of strength.
Hmm.
Not just it's like think about like the authoritative quality of her voice, thinking about her stance, like there's so much about her that I think probably little gay boys like yourself or when I was, I mean, we're almost the same age.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my God, you look so
it's
young.
I just don't go outside. I just don't see the sun. Um, it's just that I mean that's kind of something I wanted to talk to you about a little bit. It's just like I feel like uh queer people or gay people or anyone who's like sort of related to this community that you and I both are a part of, I feel like we have an appreciation for people that we deem to be iconic or iconic people. And I guess I wanted to know what it was kind of like for you to, what's the right word? I don't know, to when I'm really kind of like when you met her, um, to kind of think about the image that you had of her before and like
Yeah.
meeting her for the first time. Like, was she wary to talk to you? Like
Yeah.
building a trust. Yeah, tell me about that. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm rambling,
so
but
I
yeah.
had I my background is in talk shows. I was a supervising producer at the Late Late Show with James Corden. I did the entire run
Mm-hmm.
of the show. I did the Ellen show before that. So I've spent a lot of time like close like time with celebrities in my career.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't like gagged, like starstruck. I think I was more really hesitant because I know how unpredictable famous people can be, you
Mm.
know. And I also know how like you could present an idea or mention something and you think it's a great idea, but we have no idea that that idea is connected to some trauma from a historical point in their career from 20 years ago, and just the mere mention of it is going to like completely be a no, and
Mm-hmm.
create some. I didn't know like what exactly I was walking into, and a lot of it was, I just went really slow, right? And I did a lot of listening. I remember, so I met her, and then like 2 days later, I was back in Las Vegas filming her. And I'm not great with the camera. I'm the first to admit that. Like, I'm like, that's not my strong suit. But I'm sitting on the ground holding a camera, and I'm just like, talk, like, tell me
Yeah.
what happened. And you could tell even at that very first meeting that she still had the fire, she still had the magic, she still had the energy. She's an incredible communicator, orator.
Yeah.
She's just an undeniable energy. And she still had that, but it was definitely kind of buried under hard living and poverty, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of the beginning was just, listening. And the other thing I have to say is like the entire movie is completely real. Like we never set her up. We never said, give us a line reading, come back. Like it was
She would call you out on that, I feel like.
100%.
Yeah.
And she would say, like from the very beginning, we're not faking this. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've seen like colleagues' films and like I'm looking at shots and I'm like, that is 100% set up. Like Susan is not down to set anything up. Like she will not, she just won't, she won't fake it. Like she just will not fake it. And so,
Mm-hmm.
there's a beauty to that, and
Yeah.
there's also like really in the beginning she wanted to make it really clear that this was like her story, right? Like we didn't go deep into the family stuff. We didn't even really go deep into the villains, because like for me, I really wanted to just have the audience connect to her character and that energy.
Yeah.
And I just kind of felt like all of the context and all of the other details and information you can easily Google. And I just didn't think that like we filmed a ton of talking heads, a ton of pop culture experts, a ton of, I'm getting ahead of myself, but the film was really just like, okay, let's put the audience in the car with her,
Yeah.
let's just let them feel that energy.
Well, I think that's something that I love about the movie is that we don't really see nonfiction where there is this level of listening
Mhm.
because so many so many documentaries or so many series sort of take on the responsibility of providing the audience with so much information that they
Mhm.
want to get to everything. But like the reason, if even if you just watch the trailer and you don't know who she is, you're coming to spend time with Susan.
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
if you are somebody who is, tangentially aware of who she is, not to mention like the diehard fans of her, you're there to see her and you want to spend time with her. So I feel like that the thing that I probably love the most about it is how much you do listen and how much you just let her talk. You really luxuriate in like the experience of this person talking about their life.
Mhm.
Um and she's, there's something about her that is just like I don't think I've ever seen a documentary which is like, okay, this person's gonna give you no bullshit, unfiltered. She will tell you when she's uncomfortable. She will tell you when she's mad. She will tell you when she's happy. It's really liberating as a viewer to watch.
Yeah, I'm really like I feel like audiences today are completely the ability to just turn on your phone and turn on TikTok or Instagram and go into
Mm-hmm.
someone's bedroom, into their work life, into their car, into their relationship drama, like whatever. Like if we have the ability to sort of like voyeur into people's worlds, I feel like I feel like not that this is competing with that, but if the audience is conditioned to watch that, then they can be
Mm,
conditioned to watch a similar but documentary style version of that, you know? And
yeah.
so like, I really just kind of I was like, I don't want to take the viewer out of some of the moments by then going to like a talking head and having them explain why this is important, you know? And there were a few moments where like we just really leaned on the archival, like when she's in the 99-cent store. You hear a little from Larry King talking about she's a New York Times bestseller for
Mm,
food. And, I wanted to sort of drop hints to the audience that, like, okay, this is a significant thing because the woman who was a food expert is now living in a food desert, like, but
yeah.
I also don't want to like underline it. And, listen, I wanted the gays to gag, right? Like, I just wanted people to totally gag and I wanted my friends to love it. And I feel like, people like it, so I'm super thrilled. I'm super thrilled.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I like that you avoid the the thing that we, sort of subconsciously or consciously know is like how a documentary is, structured. It was like we're gonna start here, we're gonna go there. We're like, no, we really just like wade in the pool of the presence of her. And I find that so refreshing.
Yeah.
Actually, I really do.
It was a really cognizant choice, you know what I mean? It was really like there were versions of it that were different, that had more context, and there was also a
Mm,
whole legal situation that a lot of this stuff that happened with Susan happened 30 years ago or 25 years ago, and so a lot of it is like her word versus someone else's word.
yeah,
Like we're just a little independent movie, don't want no lawsuit, don't want no, do you know what I mean, trouble
yeah,
in that way.
yeah.
So all of our people were like, you got to remove this. And so it just kind of I never really, this wasn't a justice film for Susan. Like I wasn't trying to make something to like explain what happened to her. I wasn't, I just, the bottom line is that she fell through the cracks. You know what I mean? She fell through the cracks. And if Susan Powter can fall through the cracks,
Yeah.
what does it say about like your high school friend or your aunt or your mother or your grandmother,
Mm.
your boyfriend's mother, or you're like if it can happen to Susan Powter, it can kind of happen to anyone.
I mean, it proves like one Google search will show you like how crazily on top of the world and how culturally relevant she was
Yeah.
to people. Um, okay, I wanted to ask about the section. One of my favorite sections of the whole movie is when they're bringing when the where I think it says the production helped move a whole
Yeah.
bunch of her
The
stuff.
archival. Yeah, yeah.
And I like just the montage that you have. The way that is edited is just so entertaining about like, oh my god, I found this. And she's just it's sort of like we're seeing her rediscover her own, past, literally. And I guess I wanted to know if there was anything in a box that you found necessarily amusing or fun or fascinating. Just I love
Yeah.
that section.
I love that section too. And I've taken a little bit of heat for revealing that we paid for that archival to be like a few people have been like, why would you
Hmm.
intervene in that way? But to be honest, like we needed that archival. Like we knew that there were boxes and boxes of
Hmm.
VHS tapes and like old news. So I was like, I would have paid anything to get my hands on it.
Yeah,
But I that was the beginning of watching Susan start to come back to herself.
it's a turning point. It really is.
Turning point because she's looking at videos and she's looking at photos of herself where she's like, I was cute, and
Hmm.
she hadn't seen that stuff in so long. And so there were a ton of things we had to edit out for timing, but there's just like it was just junky, crazy stuff. Like I'm trying to think like a lot of news clippings, a lot of really, really crazy
Hmm.
news clippings.
Okay.
And but yeah, no, I mean that was the beginning of her kind of coming back to herself, right? And I love that, the one thing that is like very intentional is how many jokes are in the movie. There's like a section where she's holding like a Kotex
Yeah.
dispenser and she's like, it's real,
Yeah.
and like to be in the audience and listen to the audience laugh or react to those moments is like I just love it,
Yeah.
because she's a very funny person.
Yeah. I mean, like, I love that. I'm surprised somebody would be like, I'm sure people have opinions about everything, but I mean, like that's a really joyous section. Like, if you think about like two sections of the movie, like in terms of something about where the camera stays on her, like if you could think
Yeah,
about that versus like, I don't know, I even find the section at the end where she's upset about her haircut at
yeah.
the end. I mean, I like that even that feels uncompromising how the camera stays on her and we see how she reacts to it in a very real way. Like it's both of them are instances. Wow, I can't talk today. Of you really giving time with somebody, but like say the mood is different or the maybe the emotions are different, but the the approach is really cool.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was there was like a lot of like intentional, I guess like techniques that we were trying to play with. Like, this idea that like in life, I don't know if you've ever heard this, but like, you're on the same lesson over and over again, and the lesson will appear in various like ways through people or life
Mm-hmm.
experiences. You sort of get the lesson. And I wanted to play with like this idea that a lot of the like horrible or amazing or whatever things that happened in her past were still happening today. They just were showing up differently. Like
Mm-hmm.
when her car breaks down, for example,
Yeah.
you know, we're learning while we're hearing about the car breakdown. I'm like, let's also hear about the bankruptcy and the falling out with Rusty, right? Like I wanted to play with this like two-toned storytelling thing where the audience is
Mm.
something from here from yesterday and also something from today, but they're watching it in this like current day sequence. And
Yeah.
that was like all super intentional, including the hair stuff. Like the hair thing was like such a surprise. Had no fucking idea that that was going to go as crazy as it was. And I was also like, what a great opportunity to talk about like why her hair was so significant, like
Yeah.
why her hair is such a huge part of her like being,
Mm.
especially pop culture being, So I don't know, there was like it just was we were trying to play with like interesting things. And yeah, I think the audience is like smarter than a lot of times we give them credit for, right?
Yeah.
Like they can sort of hold two things at the same time. But yeah.
Hmm. Well, I mean, like she got so much. I don't think people were saying it in a disparaging way, but there was so much stuff when she was younger and she was, at her highest heights where everyone talked about her hair. And like, at that point, she would react to it. or she would, say something, as a jokey part of conversation. But like, I've never seen her talk about her hair like that
Yeah.
before. And it's so like, and I would say as a viewer too, like when you see it getting cut, it's like, oh, she looks great. And then you realize it's sort of like almost like a narrative sucker punch. It was like, oh, she's upset, and then we're sort of really concerned, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's really interesting.
To physically have been there that day, those 2 days was like my it was so intense and
Mm,
so shocking because it just like we're leaving the hair salon and she looked at me and she was like I hate this, and she was like, this is a big mistake, this whole thing. And I was like, it just started to fall apart. And
mm,
we it was also weird because like we had cameras, and we had one camera, like me and McKeel did this together. And so
mm.
I was like, roll, roll as much as
Yeah,
you can. But um it was absolutely completely exhausting. Like by the end of those 3 days, I was like ready to collapse. It
yeah,
was stressful, very, because I was worried she would just leave, that she would just sort of disappear.
yeah. Because even when I saw the film again, and I knew that section was coming, I will say I felt a real. It's a great mug. I felt a real like I would say like palpable tension. I was like, I knew it was coming, and I realized the second time that I watched it that I could like feel my body tensing up.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how she's going to react. Even though I knew, I didn't know how I was
It's
going
also
to.
this
Yeah.
weird thing in screenings where when she first starts, it's like 8 hours later, and people are laughing because she's like, I look like Andy Warhol.
Mm-hmm.
And then it quickly turns into, this is not laughing. Like it turns to very serious. This woman is like emotionally upset. Like she's injured herself in this way.
Yeah.
And so it was like, it's just been I also just like, for the movie, I'm like, I love it that towards the end there's this like, total plot twist, that like I had no idea that was going to happen.
Yeah. Mm. I have to say the moments towards the end when she meets Jamie
Jamie.
Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
I love that Jamie Lee Curtis says in the movie, she's like, if anybody was going to play Susan Powter, it was going to be me. And I sort of had like that moment in Jaws where like the camera goes like this, and it was like, oh my god, of course you
Yeah.
should have played her. I guess I did kind of want to ask about that a little bit. Meeting her or meeting with Bob. That line, I think it's featured in the trailer, that I think is so devastating, where she says, I don't think people went looking for Susan
Yeah.
Powter, sort of referring to like what you were talking about. It could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
But I guess I wanted to know, like, those are some of the people, as we're about to conclude the story, that are talking about her. I guess I wanted to know what it was like to bring them in.
We were, as much as I wanted the audience to be with Susan and to really feel what that was like, as a creative, I knew that we'd have to bring other people in at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And so I only wanted to really bring in people who had like personal experiences with her. Now, Jamie was an executive producer. She helped
Yeah.
fund the beginning part of the production. So she was, even though she didn't know Susan, they had this connection via history. But, Baba Sahina was, just a, like amazing little character because he was a witness to so much of it, and he also was like very well spoken, and he's
Yeah.
very chill and like doesn't care about like not looking for notoriety, not looking for to be on camera. And so I love those people when they
Mm.
will sit and talk to you, but they don't care about all that other stuff. Marianne was just like such a breath. I mean, to see Susan with
Oh,
Marianne was
Mary. Oh, that whole section is great.
that's my like real favorite section of
Ah.
the movie because it's finally we're laughing, and Marianne brings out like she's the audience when she's like,
Mm-hmm.
you want Susan Powter delivering your Uber Eats because she's not touching it, she's not eating your fries, like the Jamie thing was so real, like it happened so quickly. We pulled up, there's one camera. and they just immediately go to each other. And we're filming it
Mm,
in a way where he's constantly moving so that
yeah.
we can cut it to make it look like there are multiple cameras. Um, but it just was I just remember like I said, like this is the realest thing ever. Like they're like connecting like two women who have, Jamie has been through stuff in her life and career. Susan has been through stuff, and they're similar age, similar energy. And, it was like one of the most beautiful things to witness. And also like I'm also sober. And so I understand that concept of like reveal yourself so
Hmm.
that people can help you if you need help. And when Jamie said that in the interview, I was like, that just was like incredible because it really encapsulated like what happened. Like, I think that Susan just, no one went looking for her,
Mm,
and that's the thing that's so beautiful about today is that Susan has so many eyes on her now. Like, I'm her friend. Like, she has
yeah.
friends now. Like, she has,
Hmm.
like she's never going to fall through the cracks again, and
Mm.
so it's very exciting to see where she's going and what could happen to her. And yeah, no, the whole thing has just been like incredible.
Yeah, to sort of really, especially because we're talking about like no setups, no fake
No.
anything. It's like the fact that if you think of seeing this woman, walking through the 99-cent store with that hat, for some reason, her walking down that aisle in that hat is like burned in my brain. And
I want to put it on a t-shirt.
yeah, it's just like seeing her there to like, in this fabulous photo shoot or being interviewed later. It feels like the most honest and legitimate like rebirth of somebody
Yeah.
um that is like devoid of any bullshit or anything, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I have to say the Bob is such a great like foil for her. I want a road
Yeah.
trip movie with her and Marianne.
Yeah.
I could any sort of combination herbs and with anybody else. I'll take it.
Yeah. Me too.
Um I guess just one last thing before I let you go. I don't know if necessarily this is a question, but something that really stuck with me on my rewatch was when Susan talks about not thinking about the people who may have seen Stop the Insanity, or maybe didn't think about, I think she says like the little gay boys that sort of like were obsessed with her. I don't say like, can you comment on that? But I mean, it's just like that's something that really stuck with me. But I guess like in terms
I
of,
mean,
yeah.
she has said it. She has said it like on the Today Show. She said it on Drew Barrett. She's literally
Mm,
said it a million times that she did not know that there was this like appreciation and love of her and
that's
Stop the
crazy.
Insanity. She had. I mean, you got to also understand she for 10 years was like totally underground, like trying to
Hmm.
survive. And I think that she didn't want to like acknowledge or connect herself to that because it
Yeah.
was heartbreaking to her. And so now that she's like back
Mm,
and that people are everywhere we go, like people are stopping her and she gets inundated with messages and she's on social media now. Like
yeah.
she wasn't even on social media. So um it's also interesting because one of my favorite lines in the movie is when she's like, they're all you now. They're the makeup artist, the
Hmm.
stylist, when
Yeah.
she's right. Like, she, we've grown up, and we want to celebrate those messages that she sort of tried to give us 30 years ago, you know?
Mm, okay. After the last time I watched it, I went onto like eBay and I ordered like two of her books. I think they're
Oh yeah.
coming at the end of this week, so I'm excited to get them. Just to like, I can like leaf through them and see like
Yeah.
what she put into a book or something that she wanted to publish. I'm excited to like check that out.
Yeah.
Um, Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for letting me ramble at you.
Joey, thank you. I
Um,
I am always in debt to you, man. Like forever and ever. From relighting candles to now stop the insanity. I'm like so grateful to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope we have do this a million more times and I'll
yes, anything you do, I'll cover it. Talk to you. Anything. The candles that I have from his shop are like right over there. I
that's
need to
so
pull them.
cozy.
I should have pulled them out so I can.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you again, and have a good rest of your day. I just love it. So thank you. All
Thanks so much, Joey.
right.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.